Hey, I want to close out this whole year with this. It was about a month ago when we were going through this, and I was planning on going through this series of, finishing strong. The Lord reminded me, or had really just kind of put it in my heart to go back and listen to the message, the very first message from 2020. And the first message in 2020 was actually called Commit It. I believe it was Commit. Committed or something, not committed like you're going somewhere, but we're committed, right? Cedric's shaking his head again. We definitely off the rails. But the idea was about committing that year, this year, 2020, to Him. And I'm just asking you guys, are you thankful now we did that back in January? Anybody? Are we thankful that we, in January, not knowing what the year was going to hold, right? We decided back in January, we said a prayer. We did this thing where we said, Lord, we commit this year to you, and we put it in front of you, and we thank you that you'll guide our steps. We did all those things. And I am so thankful because I can look back now over 2020 and I can see how Father has directed us, as He led us. Listen, it was amazing, just even as a church, right? And when the pandemic hit, it's like that's when the blessings started to pour out over this house. We got the front of our building done. We got some bills paid off. I mean, it was a great couple of months. It was awesome. The only sad thing was we didn't get to see you all, right? Now, that's going to transition hopefully soon, but it's just so amazing, all the things and how God guided us and directed us as a church. And can I get an AO if you're thankful out there today that He did that for us? Come on. He loves us at Cross Current. Yes, He loves everybody, but I'm just personalizing it right now. He loves us at Cross Current, and we can confidently and boldly say that. But even personally, man, I could look back over our lives over this year and just see God's hand and God's faithfulness. And so I kind of wanted to bookend this particular, message. Let this be the other bookend on the shelf. In the beginning, God created. Now, in the beginning, in January, we said, I just got another head nod or a head shake from Cedric. I'm going to see how many times I can get Cedric to shake his head today. No, I got some ideas rolling around up in here, and I'm not going to do them. We are live. No, I thought I'd be good. Yeah, I just got now. Cedric's doing this. Go. Just keep going. Just go. But in the beginning, in January, we did this message on commit. And I thought it would be very important for us to talk about the same word as we end this year. Commit. Commit. Listen, man, in order for us to truly commit whatever it is to the Lord, you got to be able to have a heart that says, I fully trust and I give you charge of it. That's what it means to commit something. I commit this into your hands. I'm releasing it. And so I want to kick off this particular message today. When we got some treats for you in just a few minutes. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm reminded of the thing, I can't fully commit whatever it is to God if I'm continually holding on to it. And that goes in so many areas of our life. You can't fully commit your finances to the Lord when you're holding on like this, right? You can't commit your heart to the Lord if you're holding on to an issue or bitterness or unforgiveness or whatever be the case. It's really difficult to commit your plans to the Lord when you're a control freak and it's got to be your way. In January of 2020, if I had said, and I didn't hear, I haven't heard one prophetic word that in March a pandemic was going to hit. But if I stood up in January and I said, hey guys, guess what? In March, we're about to hit a worldwide pandemic. And some people are going to lose their minds. First of all, somebody would be like, man, Pastor, who peed in his Wheaties? That what kind of prophecy is that for 2020? That's not what I just got a head shake from Cedric. Just got one. I think that's the fourth head shake from Cedric today. We're doing good, man. I'm on a roll. If I can get Cedric to say, you ain't right, man, I'm doing well. But man, no one stood up in January and did that, man. We came to the table and we say, Lord, we commit this year. We commit our plans to you. And the idea was, come hell or high water, we're going to keep them committed. We're going to continue to trust you with these plans. And I'm so thankful for the faithfulness of God. Anybody with me today? Come on now. Thankful for his faithfulness. I promise you, everyone watching me online right now, you can look back and see one area where he is faithful. Now, how do we magnify that? By thanking him and praising him for that particular thing. So how do we magnify the future? Even though 2021 is going to have some successes, it's going to have major favor, it's going to have some challenges. We're going to look at 2021 and we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to transition that praise and that gratitude from this year, and we're going to make it go this way to 2021. Say, Lord, to come hell or high water, all the praises, all the blessings, everything. I'm going to thank you now for 2021 so that at the end of the year, I have just as much praise or just as much gratitude as what I do now, if not more. I'm committing. Look what Psalm 37:4 says. I might start preaching today on the last service of, 2020. It says, delight yourself, 37:4 and 5. It says this, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit, there's that word. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will act. It is one of those popular scriptures, but man, we've lived with this thing for how many decades for people who have followed Jesus that long. And listen, I can tell you, he has never let me down. Oh, he's never let me down. Cedric, turn off your phone, please. Thank you. I just got another head shake. He's never let me down. He's never let me down. Anybody online with me this morning saying, he's just never... Now, you may have been disappointed at times. You may not have liked his timing. You may not have liked how he did it or when, but he still has never let you down. Amen. More times than not, we get frustrated with people and the Lord regarding these things when we have control issues. But I don't have time to get into that today. Proverbs 16:3 says this, commit your actions to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. Let me give you this. In order to commit to the plan of God for 2021, we've got to be willing to commit to the process of God in 2021. We love committing to the plan. That's easy to do. But it's the process sometimes we don't like a whole lot. In fact, somebody might be saying, in 2021, I'm committing to Father, my heart, that I'm going to live more full of joy, with more peace, with more kindness and more patience. And all of a sudden, you step out of the doors of your house and you deal with somebody that frustrates the snot out of you, right? You go to the store, and that person is there, right? By the name of Cedric, possibly. We just simply don't know, right? So, and all of a sudden, he's in your line at the grocery store, all up in your business. You're trying to put your card in there, put your numbers in there, and, no distancing, all that kind of, and, you're just frustrated with things, and you're like, well, I committed to be happy and more joy and more peace, and the process is dealing with that person or those issues or that thing. In order to really commit to the plan of God for you, I know for us as a church, we've got to be willing to commit to the process. Can I ask you a question today, church? What do you need to commit yourself to? I'm not telling you what you need to commit to. I know it. I need to. I know what my family is going to commit to. I don't even know what Tracee's personally, what she's going to commit to. But I know individually we all have something probably that we're like, okay, I'm going to commit this to the Lord. But I encourage you to take a good look and just say, okay, God, what is that? What is the plan you have for me for 2021? And please don't say, well, I'm committing to the plan of God that this person gets in office. Because we have no control over that. Right? We do have control over the amount of peace we still live in, whoever is in office. Are you okay with that? We can control today how much we commit to our trust in Father, regardless of where gas prices go. I know I'm making it very practical, but these are the things that usually get us all bent out of shape. Can we take 2020 and bookend it with January of 2020 and say, you know, at the beginning of the year, I committed my ways and my family and my finances and my heart and my, all the things. I committed that to Jesus. And you know what? I'm not reneging on it. I'm not changing that at the end of 2020. Are you with me today, church? I'm not changing it. And so, therefore, can we make a decision to say, hey, you know what? In 2021, it's just going to continue. This is a continuation of me staying committed to the plan, committed to what God has for me. Remember, you can't fully commit until you fully release some things. If you got to hold on to it this tight, you got to ask yourself the question, is it really worth holding on to? Could God had something better? You know, we've always had this, for years we've talked about this, and that is the best way to fully commit to God is not this, it's this. It's a lot easier, a lot better this way, a lot more rewarding this way. How many's with me today? A lot more rewarding when you can come to God like this and say, here, the January I was like this. Hey, end of December, here it is, Father. My life, my heart, my soul, right here. It says it right here. Commit your actions to the Lord, and your plans will succeed. That's Scripture. That's good Scripture. Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in Him, and He will act. Man, I've seen Him act. If you've seen Him act in 2020, can you give me a thumbs up on there online? Come on now. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know, because I do go back and I look at these things. I pray over you, and I see your responses. If you've seen Him act, encourage somebody else that's watching online right now. Give them a thumbs up, or give a thumbs up. Let them see, hey, this is not just me, man. There are so many people. They're seeing God move and God act. I'm telling you, church, God is still on the move. He's still God. He's not moved. He's not shaking. He's not nervous. And as we close out this year, I'm going to make it a point for me personally to remain grateful. To not only remain grateful for back here in 2020, but to thank Him for 2021. When I run up against a wall, that He's going to help me get over it or around it. When I run up against a mountain, that He's going to help me get over it or around it. When I run up against an issue, that He's already got a way to get me through that issue. I pray that you never forget, that you don't forget as we wind down this one and ramp up the next one, that you don't forget how powerful you are. You have the ability to change your environment within your home, within your car, at the place you work, at the place you go to school. You have the power within you to create your environment. You do. Nobody can take, I'm telling you, they can't take that away because the environment comes from within you. And I know somebody who is a good environment setter. His name is Jesus. And last I checked, the Godhead fully dwells on the inside of us. That's a pretty good beginning spot for an environment setter. So I pray that you let your environment be settled within you, your environment to be created within you. Make a decision, an on-purpose decision. Get an attitude from within that says, you know, maybe in 2020, I let this get to me, I let that get to me, I let that get me down a little more, or I listen to that too much, or maybe turn around and say, okay, but God, you still got me through all of that, even though I did that. And now we look to 2021, or 20, is it 2020? Yeah, 2021. I'm making so many 2020 things that I get confused. 2021, look to the next year. All right? Look to 2021 and look at it with an attitude of saying, I finished 2020 strong. I'm going to start this year, this next year, strong. Because, man, I'm telling you, you have more in you than what you realize. Somebody needs what you have. So, man, if you're going to stay committed and remain committed, just put that in there. Commit, commit, commit. Type that in there, man. And I want you to know we got people that are praying over you as you put that. Commit, commit, commit. Now, here's what we're going to do as we continue in this service. Some of you haven't seen these people in a very long time because of this pandemic. You might have seen their picture or this or that. But we still have a staff here at the church. And I've asked every one of them to share for just a minute and a half. I've asked them all to share something about what 2020 has taught them and what they're thankful for. And it allows for an opportunity for you to see their faces and to hear their voices again. But I can assure you, we're still connected. We're still gung-ho about the vision and the plan that God has for us at Cross Current. Yes, it's been, detoured. Some things have been detoured a little bit. But this church, we together have still been advancing the kingdom, right? And so we've still been blessing our communities. We've still been doing the things. But now I want you to hear from these people because I love them so much. Tracee and I are so thankful for this team. And some of them have been through some stuff even since the pandemic hit. But, man, they remain faithful, and they're still kicking butt and taking names. And so would you just take a moment and enjoy that? And then Pastor Tracee and I are going to come back and close out the service, and then we're going to have a good time. So enjoy this, and thank you.
I've seen God's faithfulness in so many ways this year, but to name a few, I'm very, very thankful for my relationship with you and my wife, and whom I very, very much love and very thankful for every day. Thankful that we got a new car this year, new to us.
Yes.
Thankful that we're looking for a house, and we're seriously on the market for our first house, which is really exciting. Thankful that I have improved, and I feel like I've grown in a lot of areas in my life, personally and career-wise. I'm excited for the future of Cross Current Worship, and we recorded an entire album, and we're excited for the future of that. But that's just to name a few, and it's been a good year.
I'm thankful that God has just been so faithful with our health. I'm just so happy that both of us are healthy and feeling really good. I feel like usually at this point in the year I would have like a stuffy nose or something, but we're both feeling and doing amazing, which I'm so thankful for. And also, one of my really good friends got married this year, and so that was so much fun to see her get married, and then also to be a part of it, right, and to reconnect with my high school friends who I really miss. So even in the midst of all this, I've been able to grow my relationships more with my friends and hang out with them somewhat. So yeah.
Been a good year.
Hi guys, I can't believe that 2020 is almost over. As you know, 2020 has been very challenging for all of us, from a pandemic to an election to protests and even homeschooling. I have seen the worst and the best come out in people. On the onset of COVID, I told myself that I was not going to fear and that God is in control of everything. This year has taught me to be very appreciative and grateful to God for many of the little things that I take for granted. I'm thankful that I was able to work through all of it and work at home I'm very grateful for that. I'm thankful for my house, me and both my girls' health, and I'm thankful for automation in this season. Sometimes I don't like automation, but in this season, it's awesome that I can stay connected to family, friends, and church. It's great that I can listen to church online. It keeps me connected. I'm also so thankful for Kids Zone, and I miss it so much. I miss the volunteers, the families, but especially the kids. I miss my hugs so much, and I know one day we'll be all back together and we are going to have a great time. God's goodness is all around us. We just need to look for it sometimes. Never once in this whole year that I felt that God was not here with me or here with everybody. I know He's in all of this, and He's in all the details. I have faith that He is working everything out for the good of His people. That is for sure. As we go into 2021, let's all stay positive and know that the Father has our backs. I wish you a happy new year and looking forward to seeing you. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to share a little bit about how God has been faithful through this season. You know, when we first had heard about different people talking about the year being the year of 2020 vision, I really wasn't feeling it. I was like, it just seemed more like a year of clarity. And I just really feel like that's kind of where I've landed. God has been faithful through every bit of this journey that we've been on. He has shown Himself through our finances, through our health, through just our tribe, the people that surround us and surround me and encourage me and bring me things, and just, I can never thank people enough. But I think mostly for me, it has been the clarity. I've really come to understand who I am, who I'm not, things I need to improve on. And so I'm just very thankful for God's faithfulness to me. And I'm thankful for my family, and most of all, I'm thankful for you, each and every one of you, and what a blessing you've been to my life. Have a Merry Christmas and a very peaceful, hopeful New Year.
Hey, Cross Current family. Hey, Pastor Jeff here, and greetings. And I want to reflect back just for a minute or so on 2020. And I'm sure each and every one of us can say what an interesting, challenging year 2020 has been. And we're no different than anybody else. We've had our share of challenges, physically, emotionally, you name it. I think it's kind of run the gamut in 2020 for us. But one lesson that's come through loud and clear is God's faithfulness. God has seen us through each and every one of these challenges. God has allowed us to rise up above each and every one of these challenges. And God has shown us a way in each and every one of the challenges that He's helped us through. So 2020, yes, has been a challenging year, but 2020 also has been an encouraging year that God's faithfulness has shown itself again, time and time again. And I just appreciate so much the fact that He loves me enough to be faithful in everything, even when my faith is probably even smaller than a mustard seed, which is pretty small. Even my faith is smaller than that. God's faithfulness is bigger than that. So I just thank you and thank Him for that on a regular basis. Merry Christmas to each and every one of you guys out there, and a blessed New Year.
Hey Cross Current, it's Laura, and I just want to share a couple things about what 2020 has taught me and how the hope that we have in Jesus can be found in the midst of quarantining, craziness, mask wearing, all that crazy stuff that we have dealt with. I mean, look at my background. I got my Christmas tree and we got our workout bench down here. I mean, we've even transformed our living room to just fit the environment and the atmosphere that we had this year. And we were able to be home more, be home together with our boys, be home together with, each other. Roger and I have got time together. I've got an incredible amount of time with my boys that I didn't even realize I was missing like I was. I've been able to be here and coach them through school and talk them through things, and maybe they've taught me actually more than I've probably taught them this year. I am just forever grateful for this time. I know it hasn't been an easy year. I know that it's been tough at times. I know that there's been some frustrations, but my year, my 2020, I am so thankful for the slowdown, for the on purpose, for the deliberate growth that I have done through Jesus, through time with him, through time with my kids, time with my husband, time with my family. We have incredible pastors at Cross Current, and they allowed us to be able to work from home and get all of this stuff going. And we changed our environment, we changed our atmosphere, and it was an atmosphere of love, of hope, of just pure time with each other. And it wasn't always easy, trust me, it wasn't always easy, but I am forever grateful for 2020 and the time that I got to spend with my husband and my kids and my on-purpose relationships that I was able to advance. I am so thankful, and I just pray that 2021 is a great year for you guys, and we love you, and we are so excited to see what's in store.
Hi, I'm Peggy, one of the pastors here. In these closing days of this year, let's remember that God created this world, and it is his. We are his people. He created us. I believe that he can take care of the whole world. However, he has given each of us a job to do. Jesus gave us some commandments on how to handle the jobs that he's given us to do. The first one, the commandment, is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, and with all your strength. And the second part of that commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. You might ask, how on earth can I do that? How can I love my neighbor, and who on earth is the neighbor? Well, the neighbor is your family. The neighbor is your children. Your neighbor is anybody that's not you. So it's that person that's behind you in the line at the grocery store, the stranger that walks past you on the street. It is everybody else in the whole world is your neighbor, including your hairstylist or your barber. And you might ask, well, how can I do that? How can I do all this? Well, Proverbs gives us another clue. It says to trust in the Lord with all your heart. So if you're trusting in the Lord and you're loving the Lord, and the last part of the commandment that Jesus gave was to love your neighbor as yourself, you need to love yourself. You are important. I want you to think of yourself as an important person. The more you love the Lord and yourself, the more you can love other people that come across your path. My hope for you for this new year is that you feel Jesus' arms of comfort around you. You feel his arms of peace, his arms of encouragement, and I hope you have a blessed new year.
This year, I learned about God's preparation and provision. I can look back as far as 5 years and see how he was preparing me for 2020. It was 5 years ago that I started a major project at my job that prepared us for how we were going to have to adjust to how we do business this year. It was also 5 years ago that I met my future husband. Actually, it was 1 year ago today that we got married. Weird year to be newlyweds. But I can see God's hand in that too. Without my husband's help and partnership, 2020 would have been a lot different for me. So I can see how God is always leading us, always preparing us, and always providing for us. Not that it'll always be easy. 2020 definitely was not easy. But God took care of me, just like he always does. Oh, the other thing I learned in 2020 was how important sweatpants are.
When I think of God's faithfulness in this season, I feel like some of the things that I've learned, there's two things that come to mind. And one of those things is that his faithfulness is seen in the midst of my processing and questions. I tend to be someone who likes to see the finished product, and I don't always enjoy the journey along the way. And one of the things that I have come to find in this season is that God is right there in the midst of those journeys and those processes. And no matter what it looks like, He is there, and His faithfulness can be seen in those moments. The other thought I have is I have a saying that sits by my kitchen sink every day, and it's this. It says, I still remember when I prayed for the things that I have now. And so in this season, one of the things that reminds me of His faithfulness is staying in that attitude of gratitude and continuing to remember that there are certain things in my life right now, even though there's some things that I have not prayed for in this season, there are many things that I have prayed for in this season of my life, and I can see God's faithfulness in those things. And sometimes it's the small things, but they are so incredibly huge, and it just reminds me of His faithfulness.
Hey CC, Pastor Doug here. What a powerful year this has been. I'm not sure what adjective was about to come out of me there, but powerful is what came up. You know, it's been a year. Started in January, here we are in December, and my thing is, this year, more than I guess I received something from God or I saw something from God, for me, with the Lord this year, there was things revealed in me. And that was at times awesome. And there was things revealed in me where I was like, wow, there's more in there than I thought. I'm stronger than I thought. There was parts of my faith and parts of my trust. But then there was also this other side where there was some things that came out of me that were maybe not as beautiful as what I wanted them to be, or maybe not as, excited as I was about other parts. And that's the beautiful part of adversity, endurance and finishing strong, like we're talking about. Whatever happens to you, whatever goes on in your life, if it's adversity, was probably going to be sprinkled into it. And the things that come out of us in those times when pressure is on or adversity is coming, they can look great, they can look bad, they can be frustrating, it can be what we didn't want to see. But I do think that it all is beneficial, because at the end of the day, at least it's coming up and it's coming out of you. And I feel like the more that we see what's going on the inside of us, the healthier, the stronger, the more consistent, the more stable, the more peaceful we'll be in life. And so thank you so much for this year, CC, for staying committed, staying faithful, staying strong. For those of you that have had loss or grief this year, our hearts are with you. We know it's challenging, and we're praying for you, and we're standing with you. And we're going to celebrate the end of this year. We're going to celebrate the beginning of 2021, knowing that God's faithfulness is going to be as true as it ever was. Love you guys.
How awesome was that?
That was so good.
I love them,
loved
guys.
it.
Wasn't Peggy so cute?
Yeah.
Peggy, we love you, man. We love all of you.
And I love Tiffany's sweatpants shout out.
I know, right?
It's only that was so good. Like, I wore lipstick today, and I have sparkles on because I'm doing this, but I'm going home to put my sweatpants back on.
Sweatpants, baby. Hey, if you love sweatpants, come on, put in the condom. Sweatpants. There we go. Cedric, do you have sweatpants on? Okay. Cedric's got sweatpants on. Hey, we just wanted to really, first of all, staff, thank you so much for doing that. And we really do miss the day-to-day grind with you. But we thank you for being such a blessing. And but we want to take a few minutes and just encourage and love and just, So I have a question for you. Why are you so beautiful? No, that's not the question. What has, because you and I, we've talked briefly about this, but we haven't gotten to deep, depths of it. What has God taught you, or what have you gleaned from 2020?
That's a loaded question, right? I think, for me, it's ended up in a place of gratitude. There's been times where we've had to really struggle to get there, right? But it's gratitude. It's gratitude for His sustaining power.
Yeah.
We've gone through some things this year. I know that we know people, and we've lost loved ones, and we've experienced things in our family, and we got the COVID.
Got the COVID.
And it wasn't an easy journey, but he was so faithful throughout it all.
Yes, he was.
And I think for me, what is it going to be like when we can all get back together? Imagine the gratitude. We won't take seeing full faces for granted anymore. We won't take hugs or just...
Even the simple thing of hearing, like when we sing together.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, the difference of everybody singing together. It's like you feel like you're with angels. You feel like you're really in heaven. It's interesting how that is.
Yeah, and I think like right along the line with what you said even earlier about him setting the atmosphere, I think 2020 really showed some areas in my life where the atmosphere wasn't necessarily always on target, right? And, you know, even though he can set the atmosphere, sometimes we choose to not let him in all the areas. And there were times where I let anxiety get the best of me, or I got discouraged, or, you know, all the things that we all go through. And then coming back again to his faithfulness, that his sustaining power through it all. And 2020 for me personally was a year of him removing comforts, removing things that I, you know, really fell back upon and crutches and didn't realize they were crutches. And so that it was just about me and my relationship with him. There was no other distractions. Like a lot of the distractions were removed. So for 2021, like I just see him rebuilding, just a real rebuild, an authentic, all the crutches have been removed. We know we can do this without being together, like face-to-face or in person. But when we come back together, the anticipation inside me is just huge. Just how precious it is when we can dwell together in unity in a face-to-face environment.
Right. I think for me, for 2020, when just the last 8 months, I've grown a greater appreciation, and I know you and I love this church, and we love these people. But I've grown a greater appreciation for them, not being able to see them, not being able to connect with them.
Missing them and loving them
and then when you
so
see
deeply.
them, and when you see them, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, it's like family reunion after all these years. You know, it's what it feels like.
It feels like all these
right?
years.
Yeah, so it's I didn't even know I could have that, but I guess you don't know until you go through some stuff like that. But
well, and when the process, like when he's tearing down things, or because that's what I just see in my own life, like when you can be back together, like what a beautiful rebuild, what a beautiful gratitudinous.
Hey, you're making words up. I like it.
You've taught me well.
Touches my heart so deeply. Yes, gratitudinous. Write that one down. That's beautiful.
I feel like it always comes back to gratitude. It always comes back. If we enter his gates with thanksgiving, my word, I don't want to be anywhere else. Yeah. And that always comes back and like centers me. If I can get a little bit out or get distracted, like gratitude just brings me this adjustment of, hey, you know, it's like going to a chiropractor.
I like your word for rebuild, you know, because it's not going to be, you know, just back to what it was. There's going to be a slow rebuild, you know, to it all. You know, it might take a year.
Authentic rebuild.
Yeah, authentic.
Because there were things even things in me that the Lord revealed, just religious duties or things I didn't even realize I was doing. I was just, it was like breathing, right? And then when some of those things get removed and you're like, oh my gosh.
That's right.
Like, I didn't realize that was a crutch. And so now, like, to me, it's an authentic rebuild. It is we are here in this together, doing this together in a very real way.
Love it.
Which is beautiful and raw, but amazing.
Authentic rebuild. I like that. That's good. And it will be, too.
I think so.
It will be. I don't think we're alone in the fact that people will, you know, when they come together after all these months and just, you know, just there's something about the live music, right? There's something about being in the house.
Just even being back today, this was like my first time back in here for probably over a month. But wow, just
Yeah. It's just so different. You know, it's like, wow, I have missed this so much. And it's like I didn't even know I missed it that much until and that's what it's like when you start seeing some of the faces again and start the people. It's like, wow, you know what? Our love for these people are so great. And I know their love for us is that way too. It's just, when you go through the weekly grind, it's just like, you love them and they love you, but it's like different now.
It is different.
It's like we're family and we can get through anything together, right? We can, and so I'm actually looking forward to this authentic rebuild in 2021. And the church might look different, and I'm okay with that, but it's the people that matters the most. And so I'm really pumped about being able to, get back to reopening and have an in-person service.
And it wasn't like he tore everything down. I don't mean to make it sound like that.
No,
I'm
I get
not
it.
right.
Nope.
But it's just he used the opportunity to deconstruct some things that he never intended to be there.
Yeah.
I
think that's awesome. And I apologize for Pastor Doug putting those on you.
I was like, wait, what?
I'm kidding. I just blame him because I blame Cedric enough today.
Well, you haven't touched on Vic or Walt yet.
That's true.
Or Mitch.
That's
so
true.
We still got a ways to go.
All right. Well, I appreciate you being up with me. You're awesome. I like you.
I like you.
That's good. We're going to go with 2021 together. Ayo. Are you ready for it?
I am.
Me too. How about we close with a prayer and bless these awesome people. We love you so much, church. We love you and we miss you, and we honestly cannot wait to be back together again. Do you want to close in prayer or you want me to?
I'll open in prayer and you close in prayer. What about that?
Wow.
It'll be like a double-decker.
You got it.
All right.
You go for it.
I like to touch him, so.
Hey.
Heavenly Father, we come before you on this last Sunday of 2020, thanking you for your sustaining power.
Yes, Lord.
I'm so glad that you are God, and I am not. You are a good, good Father.
Yes, you are.
Your ways are always perfect. Your love is so encompassing. The way you look at me, the way you look at us, the way you love us. I could never take that for granted. Father, as we go into 2021, and some parts of life go back to normal and some parts never will. I thank you, Lord, that you know how to find us.
Yes, you do.
You know how to love us, even when distractions come. You know how to get our attention. You are so, so good. And we are a grateful people.
Yes, we are.
Grateful for the way you've shown up. Grateful for the way you love us on our good days and our not so good days. You are so good.
Thank you. Father, we just pray a big, huge blessing over every person watching this. Father, I pray that Tracee and I come into agreement that this year will be exactly what it's supposed to be. Full of peace, full of joy, full of power. Oh, it'll have challenges, but our trust is in you. We commit 2021 to you today. And we thank you that our steps are ordered of you and that everything we put our hands to will prosper in Jesus' mighty name. You want our hearts. We won't second guess.